What's up everyone, Alan Morrow here, and today I just want to show you a bit of a different technique when it comes to sort of layering your mid-bass layers. This is a way that I don't always do, but something I've thought of doing a little bit more recently, just to get a bit more of a sort of a dynamic, sort of more interesting mid bass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to the door and you'll be able to see exactly what it is that I'm doing here, so you can see each of the different layers and stuff. So what you can see here is I've got a typical rolling bass line sound. If I just open up this here, so let's say for example you have this bass pattern and you kind of like this bass pattern, and I'll just give it a little play for you here. Just turn this down a little bit, 1 second. So you got your typical rolling sort of bass line pattern that you like. For example, it doesn't have to be this pattern, but rather than layering it in the, I guess the typical way of duplicating the layer, copying it across, and adding in another layer with the same pattern but a different sound, one way that you can do this to create a bit more of a dynamic sort of bass with a bit more interest to it is actually split this bass into different MIDI parts. So what I've done here, this is the original one. Now if you come down here, I've muted some of the patterns. You start to see here different ones. So they essentially all make up this main MIDI bass pattern, but it's chopped them to the different parts. I mean, you can do it in any different way you want here. I've just thrown a couple of different ideas together. And then what I've done is I've got 3 different bass layers, different sounds from my Silent One bass bank. If you want to go check that out, you can do that on the website. I'll leave a link in the description below. But so here's 3 of the bass lines. That's the first one. So they're all slightly different. And if I play them all together, you can then obviously go in and sort of, you spend a bit more time with it. I've just been having a bit of a play around now, but you probably want to pick ones that are quite cohesive with each other. If they're too drastically apart, might not make too much sense, or it might do. Just have a little bit of an experiment, see what works. But once you've also done this and you pick some different layers and stuff, you could, for example, go in. You might want to have this top layer, for example, open up a little bit more with the cutoff. You might want a bit more delay, a bit more reverb. You can then shape the top sound, for example, to be a little bit tighter. You could have the retrigs on and off, anything like that. What else you could do? You could also then, as well with these, come in and actually change these patterns around. So, for example, I might want to put this one on the bottom instead, and this one here. And I've not properly mixed these in or anything like this yet. I've just been picking some different sounds to see what sort of works, but it's definitely a little bit of a good idea to sort of get interesting bass lines. You could add a bit more reverb on one of the top end ones, anything like that, anything just to really make them nice and dynamic, and then add a little bit of a side chain on there. And it just makes it a little bit more different than this. Can sound a bit static sometimes, so this creates a bit more of an interest. And you'd obviously have to go in and make sure the levels are all nice and balanced with each other and stuff. But I thought it was a cool idea that I should share with some of you guys. So if you do like the video, then don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. As I said, I'm trying to grow the channel this year a lot. So, and if you haven't also done so, please do check out the AM Studios production community, where you'll also receive other exclusive tips and tricks as well directly to your email. I was sending out some free kicks the other day and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good email list to be on. Lots of different things coming your way in terms of tips and stuff like that. So be sure to check that out. You can do that. I'll leave a link in the video here. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.